my name is Ashley Lee, and I'm doing my presentation on our third grade ACAP scores at Bridgeport Elementary School for IL 692, Dr. Gill. So my project was on increasing math scores in our third grade through an intervention program, and progress monitoring. So our problem statement states that last year our third grade math ACAP scores were the lowest compared to all other grades in the school and subjects. To improve these scores this year, we're going to start with a math intervention block for our third grade only, in addition to progress monitoring through our program called Renaissance Star. This will allow us to monitor and analyze our data in our monthly data meetings with our math lead. So this is just, I know it's kind of hard to see from there, but this is just some of our ACAP scores from the previous year. This is what the data we're going off of. This is our actual data. So on the left, you'll see the 2021 data, and on the right, you'll see the 2022 data. So they are color-coded. Again, I know it's kind of hard to see in here, but the yellow is the level 1 students. Those are the ones that, we don't want any level 1 students, right? The dark green is the level 2 students. It's supposed to be blue, but it's almost like a light green in here, is level 3. That's supposedly means on grade level. And on level 4 is exceeding. So you'll see the light pink up there, that's exceeding. And we all know that COVID has had a lot to do with this. And you can see we did increase some, but not enough. Our math scores are great. If you look at last year's ACAP data overall for the school, we're in the top 15% of the state, but everyone has room for improvement, and this is our area for improvement. So if you'll look over here, it says state, Jackson County, and Bridgeport Elementary. So the third column is the actual school compared to the state and the entire county. Okay, so we're a little bit better off in 2021 than our county and our state. But it's pretty comparable. And in 2022, you can see that we did even better. And this is overall. We have only 10% of our students were in level 1 for this past ACAP data. It's almost actually a year now because we're in March. But you can see, again, the last 2 columns for each picture. We are growing, we are progressing, but we need to get a little bit better. Again, I'm sorry, I think this bulb has about had it in here. You can't really necessarily see this, but it says ACAP summary. We did make gains from years 2021 to 2022 as showed in the previous slide. We decreased our level 1 scores and increased our level 4 scores, which is great. However, if we break it down by grade, so again, that was the entire school, our 4th grade and our 2nd grade knocked it out of the park. Our 3rd grade scores were the lowest. They had 0 level 4 scores. So that means that they contributed none to that overall growth in level 4. So the question is, a lot of question is, even the state, I assume, asked this question because of the Numeracy Act that's coming out. It says, is the Literacy Act in 3rd grade taking precedence over math? And my guess would be yes. Okay, that's where the retention piece is coming in next year. For the Literacy Act, we develop portfolios in 3rd grade. Everybody has to be on reading level by 3rd grade, reading proficiently anyway. So these teachers are focusing on reading, and they're not necessarily focusing on our math, and it shows. So what are we currently doing? Currently, before this was done, we were taking Star Math monthly. We were using math CBMs with struggling students. And I'll be honest with you, not all of our teachers do this, just some of them. Not all of them, but soon to be all. And we are currently discussing and analyzing our data in our monthly data meetings and in our leadership meetings. So below here, you can see that this is just showing you the different types of CBMs that are offered. And I'll read them to you because it's kind of hard to see from back there. So it'll have your student name, your grade level, and the goal. Then it'll have number recognition, and it tells you what grade level from kindergarten to 1st grade. Quantity comparison, kindergarten to 1st grade, addition to 10, addition to 20, subtraction from 10, And then we move into third grade, which is mixed addition and subtraction and multiplication to 100. And that's usually where our students struggle. So based off of our stakeholder surveys, we proposed two solutions. Solution one was for an intervention program that was geared more toward tier 3 instruction for math, and solution two was geared or focused more on tier 1. So they chose tier 3, and I listened because they are our stakeholders, they matter. So what does solution one say? Solution one said, create a math intervention time. So math intervention for us means to block off a time in the master schedule, that will be the principal's responsibility, to focus in on tier 3 math instruction. Provide deliberate and focused training from the chosen intervention program, which we'll go over in just a second. Use diagnostic testing from program to assess the struggling students and where their gaps are. And to use that blocked off time to work with struggling students in a more small group setting. So we focus on small groups in reading especially, but now we need to focus on small groups in math. So let's go over a few of those. Again, the color's not that great, but this is what the master schedule looks like for Bridgeport Elementary before the math intervention block was blocked in, but I wanted to show you, this is what it looks like. Something that we've created. You can see the intervention blocks up there in pink and red. That is we call it Tiger Time, and that's our literacy intervention block. All students are leveled based off of ability, and they go in for 30 to 40 minutes and work specifically on the gaps that they have in their literary education. So this is the same thing we're going to do, except we're going to do it for math. So I wanted to show you what the master schedule would look like for math. So when I actually do my final presentation, you'll be able to hear this video a little bit better. But what this shows, it just shows your IXL program, the program we chose. And it talks about the diagnostic assessments in there and how each student is able to take a diagnostics test in there, and based off of their work in the program, it gets to know the student a little bit better and tells that teacher what they need to work on. It gives recommended skills and things like that. So it's really nice. And it's also very expensive. So after that, so we talked about the master schedule component, we talked about the program component, and then what are we going to do with all of that data from that program and with that time from the master schedule? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our STAR assessment to look at that student data and see if we're progressing. So in addition to using the IXL in a blocked off time during the school day, we will also be using our progress monitoring piece called STAR, like I just said. Instructional planning and individualized reports will allow for teachers to analyze their teaching and their success of their teaching through these reports. And I'll show you what these reports look like. So this is using STAR instructional planning. So what this does is it says, this is your whole class, the median scale score based off of this assessment for your class, the highest, the lowest, it gives you everything. It gives you suggested skills. So the core progress math built for Alabama, it tells you which huge focus skills you need to focus on in your classroom based off of all of your students' data. I love this report. I wish more teachers utilize this report. And then finally, this is more of on an individualized basis. This is the individual student report. This almost projects where the student will be in a year worth of learning, or where they will be at the end of the year if this track or this amount of learning is happening at the same rate of time, per se. So again, this tells you where the benchmark is. You can see the colors up there. This student is in the green, which means you're good. You're at or above benchmark, this student is. Tells you the scale score. And then it also tells you what suggested skills, even though that the student is on grade level, we don't just stop teaching this student. It still tells you your focus areas for the classroom for this individual student. So I really like this report. So what do we do now what do we need to do now? What are our steps moving forward? Gonna continue to progress monitor 2nd through 4th grade, okay, in math. That's when you start taking the Math STAR assessment. You start in 2nd grade and they leave us in 4th grade. So we're gonna continue to do that, making sure we're gaining progress everywhere, not just 3rd grade. The principal needs to modify that schedule and make that 3rd grade math intervention block. If you don't have something like that to make it concrete and to make it official, sometimes teachers might not want to do that. There might be a little bit of pushback from it. It needs to be all in. Everybody needs to buy in. And then finally, pilot solution 1, sometime during the spring 2023, which is coming up. Hopefully we're gonna assess it, have everything ready, everything trained by spring break. And then in April, we'll have 2 full months of testing this out. We're only gonna do it with 3rd grade students. So if you'll notice the difference, we're still progress monitoring with 2nd through 4th for STAR Math, but we're only gonna pilot this math intervention block for 3rd grade because that was our focus area. And then if it works, if we see good results, we will implement it for everyone next year. So I have my email up here and my phone number up here, my work phone with my extension. If anybody has any questions, I am open to suggestions. Thank you.